4 games, 4 battles, one night that could tilt the balance of Americup 2025. Argentina faces Colombia in a duel of pedigree against rising ambition. The Dominican Republic clashes with Nicaragua in a matchup of powerhouse depth against underdog heart. Canada and Puerto Rico bring a showdown of speed, strength, and skill that could be the game of the group stage. And Panama takes on Venezuela, two nations fighting not just for a win, but for survival and momentum. These aren't just games, they're wars on hardwood, where odds collide with pride, and every possession could flip the script. Imagine the lights dimming in Managua's Polideportivo Alexis Arguello, the roar of the crowd echoing like a heartbeat. On one side are Panama, the gritty underdogs from Central America, known for street-born tenacity and a history of defying expectations. On the other, Venezuela, the continental giant in transition, a program on the mend under new coach Ronald Gillen, with a blend of veterans and youthful promise trying to rekindle past glory. It's not just a game, it's a collision of identity, pride, and potential. Panama enters this match with something to prove. They've qualified for the 2025 Americup, carrying the legacy of surprising performances, their program built from a Panama pipeline of hometown grit and U.S. collegiate experience, forever defined by upsets like toppling the U.S. at the Pan American Games in Rio back in 2007. In the Americup itself, they've hovered around the middle, a 7th place finish in 2005, 11th in 2022, and now here in the preliminary stage of a tournament that could mark a turning point. Venezuela, by contrast, carries the weight of history and the sting of recent struggles. Once the 2015 Americup champions, they now sit 25th in the FIBA World Rankings, a rebuilding project under Gillen aiming to emerge from the shadows of early exits and missed World Cup margins. Their Americup campaign already has bruises, pulled down by Puerto Rico in a 97-70 defeat that exposed their defensive wobbles and lack of consistency. Their previous encounters set the stakes. Venezuela has dominated the rivalry. Panama's only win in recent history was a narrow 80-71 upset in 2009. Since then, the trend has been brutal. Panama hasn't beaten Venezuela in the last 5 meetings, including lopsided Americas qualifiers and group stage clashes. The psychological edge on paper is Venezuela's, but every game begins at 0 in the heat of competition. Statistically, the Americup paints a clearer picture of the matchup. Panama averages 54 points, 27 rebounds, and 10 assists per game, shooting a respectable 45.2% on 2-pointers and 23.1% from 3, with 57.1% accuracy at the line. Venezuela, meanwhile, brings more volume and efficiency, 62 points, 33.5 rebounds, 17 assists per game, though their shooting splits are slightly weaker from the field and 3, yet they boast a stellar 80% from the free throw line. The numbers suggest Venezuela control the pace and possessions, while Panama scrambles with hustle and efficiency. Prediction models reinforce that narrative. Win Comparator estimates Venezuela's probability of winning at over 75%, and BetClan's algorithm, factoring in form, head-to-head trends, and expert input, gives Venezuela an even stronger edge, an 89% chance to win. A sports betting preview like Scores 24 sees a tight battle, spotlighting a contrast in playing styles, Panama's attacking efficiency versus Venezuela's tempo-driving defense, and picks Panama with a plus 16.5 handicap, meaning they expect a surprisingly close finish. So here's your edge for Beyond the Box Score. The tension isn't just in the numbers, it's in the story. Panama's fight for respect against a Venezuelan squad wrestling with identity and expectations. A team with nothing to lose versus a program desperate to prove it still belongs among the Americas' elite. It's David versus Goliath. Except this Goliath has cracks. In your video, open with cinematic imagery, the arena, the flag-waving fans, the reverberating drums and chants. Immediately contrast the pride of Panama's underdog tradition with Venezuela's storied past and current rebuild. Use game footage or animated stats to spotlight the scoring and rebounding gaps, then bring in the prediction data. highlighting how overwhelming the odds seem against Panama, yet how their aggressive pace and scrappy tenacity might just neutralize Venezuela's advantages. As the narrative unfolds, walk viewers through the matchups to watch. The rising young center Enrique Medina towering under the rim for Venezuela, the veteran influence of Yohanner Cifuentes and Jose Ascanio anchoring the offense, alongside Panama's relentless energy chasing every loose ball. Emphasize that the script may predict a Venezuela win, but the bullet points, tempo disruption, turnovers, rebounding battles, are where Panama could flip the script. The arena hums with electricity. Polideportivo Alexis Arguello glows under stadium lights, filled with anticipation. Argentina, the reigning Americup champions, stand on a pedestal built through decades of dominance and careful execution. Across the court, Colombia arrives with a different heartbeat, hungry, bold, determined to disrupt the narrative. The energy is tangible, almost tangible enough to crack the scoreboard. And here, in this battle of legacy versus ambition, the story isn't just written in stats, it's forged in momentum, strategy, and will. From a historical perspective, Argentina has held Colombia in clear view for years. Since 2008, they've met 8 times, and Argentina has walked away victorious in 7 of those encounters, outscoring Colombia by an average margin of 86.3 to 69.9 points per game. In these rivalries, confidence and execution have seldom wavered. Yet basketball isn't always dictated by history. In February 2025, during the Americup qualifiers, Argentina again proved superior with a commanding 98-82 win in Cali. At the heart of this matchup, the tournament's underlying numbers paint a similar picture. Argentina enters the group phase averaging a formidable 88.5 points, grabbing 42 rebounds, and dishing 21.5 assists per game. They shoot 48.9% on two-pointers, 37.5% from three, and convert 55.9% of free throws. Colombia, by contrast, lags behind with 74 points, 34 rebounds, and 14.5 assists per game. The discrepancy showcases Argentina's offensive fluidity, precision, and ability to seize every possession, not just dominate but orchestrate. Yet in recent form, complexities emerge. Argentina's ATS against the spread win rate versus Colombia sits at just 28.6%, while over has hit only 42.9% of the time in head-to-head showdowns. For bettors, that translates to caution. Dominance doesn't always mean domination across the board. Their last 5 matchups show Argentina winning just 2, allowing around 77.4 points per game, with an ATS rate dropping further to 20%, while over trends hit 60%. That's a clear invitation to look beyond the simple moneyline pick. Dig deeper and player dynamics sharpen the paint. Argentina's pedigree includes stars like Facundo Campazzo, delivering over 7 assists per game in qualifiers, Jose Vildoza, a two-way force with 2.5 steals, and a roster depth that floods the boards and disperses scoring threats. Colombia counters not with flashy offense, but with Coach Tomás Diaz's blueprint: disrupt, defend, and force mistakes. Michael Jackson Wright, a veteran who brings grit, and Brian Angola, expected to ignite scoring despite missing qualifiers, provide keys to their unpredictable blueprint. For the sharpest betting strategies, the options span a spectrum. The safe route is Argentina moneyline or a small spread, say, -8.5, trusting their execution will shine. But the real value lies in alternative angles. With Argentina's shaky ATS history and Colombia's capacity to stir chaos, the points line becomes enticing. If the spread balloons beyond double digits, Colombia plus X absorbs risk and offers upside. Meanwhile, the over is tempting. Argentina's offensive script paired with Colombia's pace could push totals higher if both teams trade points in bursts. This is ultimately a game of tempo control. If Argentina dictates the pace, drills half-court sets, executes in rhythm, they win. If Colombia ignites transition, disrupts ball movement, forces Argentina into uncomfortable positions, they stick around. In essence, This isn't about who's talented, it's about who writes the rhythm on the court. In the end, the matchup is defined by contrast, an experienced Argentine squad versus an emotionally charged, scrambling Colombian effort. Argentina carry the pedigree, but Colombia bring noise. This is a chess match disguised as a game, patterns versus disruption. Argentina are clear favorites by the numbers. But in FIBA, surprises aren't rare, they're expected. The stadium lights hang heavy over Managua's Polideportivo Alexis Arguello, electric with expectation. On one side are the Dominican Republic, a team marching in from a statement-making overtime triumph against Argentina, riding a wave of confidence, discipline, and defensive ferocity. Across the court stands Nicaragua, the host nation making their Americup debut, an underdog with home crowd passion, hungry to seize a moment that could resonate beyond the scoreboard. The stage is set for a clash between polished pedigree and raw ambition, between orchestrated power and improvisational heart. On paper, this is a mismatch. Historically, the Dominican Republic have dominated, 3 meetings since 2023, 3 wins, averaging 89 points to Nicaragua's 68.7. That includes comfortable victories in FIBA Americup qualifiers, like an 84-67 win in February and an 89-73 thrashing in November of 2024. Beyond the lineup sheets, the Dominicans bring momentum. A recent overtime win stung with clutch execution, spearheaded by Andres Felice's double-double of 14 points and 11 assists, backed by Joel Soriano's 6 blocks in a game that swung on defensive lockdowns and big-time presence in the paint. Nicaragua, by contrast, are stepping into the continental spotlight for the first time, buoyed by hosting pride and hometown energy. Their FIBA debut is a chance for a national awakening. But in recent form, the results don't lie. They've lost their last 5, conceding an average of 92 points per game while scoring just 68.8. Their defense has leaked points, and their offense has struggled to find rhythm against stronger teams. Yet this is FIBA basketball, and here, underdogs thrive in chaos. The Dominican Republic enter as clear favorites, but betting markets and tactical angles hint at nuance. Scores 24's prediction leans on the expectation of a fast-paced, high-scoring affair, nestling in on the over 159.5 total points play, with odds around -167, reflecting confidence in offensive fireworks. Live Scores adds that the DR are consistent favorites, having won 4 of their last 5 games, averaging roughly 80.4 points while conceding 70.4, while Nicaragua remain winless, losing 5 straight with a negative point differential hovering around 160 total points per match. What does that tell us? The Dominicans are skilled, deep, and battle-tested. Nicaragua are passionate, home-fueled, and desperate to disrupt. If the DR control tempo, dictate half-court sets, and impose defensive structure, they win. But if Nicaragua turn this into a run-and-gun tempo, they force turnovers, exploit mistakes, and lean on crowd energy, the game can become unpredictable. So, what should bettors consider? The safe play is the Dominican Republic moneyline, a high-probability, low-reward pick. But true value hides in alternative angles. Given the historical ATS success of the Doctor, 66.7% head-to-head win rate and over hitting 66.7% of their matchups, the over suggests value, especially if both sides spill points in bursts. Meanwhile, Nicaragua plus X plus the spread could make sense if lines inflate. Home court reality often pushes lines outward, and even a close, spirited performance from Nicaragua can yield ROI. The plot, the DR's precision and defensive identity versus Nicaragua's frantic, energetic push, makes this more than just another game. It's elite professionalism meeting raw national spirit. It's veteran calm versus rookie fire. It's technical execution squaring off with emotional recklessness. This is the moment Nicaragua dreamed of. That first wave of energy hitting the floor, that chance for a layup that ignites 1,000 cheers. And this is the moment the Dominican Republic lean on the rhythm of experience, on shutdown defense and clutch execution. Numbers suggest a Dominican win, but the drama whispers otherwise. In the end, it comes down to control. Who sets the pace? Who wins the possession battle? Who harnesses momentum when it matters most? The answer will write the narrative, whether it's a calculated Dominican chase of another quarterfinal berth or the rise of Nicaraguan heart-disrupting structure in a way only FIBA can conjure. The roar of the arena pulses through the silence just before tip-off. On one side, Canada stands with quiet confidence, an emerging power fueled by precision, athleticism, and a lineage tracing back to World Cup podiums. Across from them, Puerto Rico pulses with resilience, seasoned underdog warriors built on execution and heart, their path to this moment defined by adaptability and grit. This isn't just a game, it's a collision of identity, momentum, and intention, and the storyline isn't written yet. The true script is etched in tempo, strategy, and execution. The clash carries added spice. Canada and Puerto Rico both entered this final group stage showdown at 2-0. Canada rolled through their opener, dismantling Venezuela 88-54 behind Keyshawn George's 18 points, 4 steals, and efficient shooting as they held Venezuela to just 31% from the field and surged ahead with a 55% shooting night themselves. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico leaned on George Condet IV, 16 points, 13 rebounds, 3 blocks, 1 steal, to overpower Venezuela and punch their ticket to the quarterfinals. Both teams buzz with confidence, yet they've arrived here via different paths, Canada with dominance and rhythm, Puerto Rico with adaptability and defensive resolve. History casts Canada in a familiar light, but not by such a wide margin. Traditionally, Canada has had the upper hand. H2H encounters suggest they've won their last head-to-head outings, like the one in July 2024, with a scoreline of 103-93. Still, Puerto Rico's experience in close, high-stakes battles can't be underestimated. On average, when they've faced off, both teams score around 108, with Canada having claimed 2 wins recently, pulling the head-to-head record in their favor, but only marginally. The betting markets reflect Canada's slight edge. Win Comparator projects a 62.7% win probability for Canada, with odds averaging roughly 1.61 across bookmakers, while Puerto Rico's win returns are around 2.40. That's a solid favorite position, but not blowout territory. Meanwhile, the total line hovers around 167.5, hinting at a moderately high-scoring game. Expect both teams to push offense, but maybe not enough to blow past the over. Meanwhile, Scores 24 suggests a different angle, leaning toward a low-scoring dust-up. Their tip: total points under 172.5, supported by a narrative where Canada drives but Puerto Rico counters with stops and transition scoring, keeping the final underwhelming in total volume. That divergence between high-scoring expectation and a lean toward the under presents a compelling tension, a script where pace meets pressure. Strategically, Canada will aim to assert dominance through ball movement and aggressive perimeter shooting. With Keyshawn George's two-way impact and efficient role players like Mfiondu Kabengele and Leonard Miller contributing inside, Canada can punish mismatches and collapse defenses. Their depth, fueled by FIBA's top 6 global ranking and a roster steeped in experience, gives them structural advantage. Puerto Rico, on the other hand, relies on Condit's interior presence, veteran savvy, and upgrade by game momentum. His 2-game efficiency rating places him among the tournament's top performers thus far. For bettors and engaged viewers, the options branch into 3 compelling threads. The safe route is laying a moderate spread with Canada, perhaps Canada minus 4.5 or minus 6 depending on the line. A bold play would be the over, if you believe both teams will push pace and trade runs. The contrarian angle, under 172.5, especially if the game turns into a defensive chess match where every possession matters. Parlay segments, such as Canada to win the first quarter or take the first half, are also tempting given Canada's historical strong starts. At its core, this matchup is about tempo control. Will Canada dictate the flow with disciplined execution and spacing? Or will Puerto Rico disrupt that rhythm, slow things down, and fight through each possession with defensive intensity. The drama lies in that tension. Ultimately, the universe of data suggests a Canadian win. But FIBA always has room for the unexpected. Those late-game steals, momentum-shifting blocks, and role-player wake-ups. In a contest balanced by skill, heart, and identity, the winner may very well be the team that controls the pace more than the scoreboard. And that's the slate. 4 games, 4 chances to find value, and 4 stories that could reshape this tournament. But I want to hear from you. Does Argentina prove their dominance, or does Colombia pull off a shocker? Can Nicaragua fight above their weight, or does the Dominican Republic show no mercy? Is Canada still the powerhouse to beat, or does Puerto Rico make a statement? And in Panama versus Venezuela, who comes out swinging harder? Drop your predictions in the comments, hit that like button if you're ready for more breakdowns, and subscribe to Beyond the Box Score, because here, we go deeper than the box score and deliver the fire behind every matchup.